So the session is being recorded, and I hope you can all see this and everything looks and sounds good. Before we start, I would like to have the Treaty 6 Territory Land Acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that the land on which we gather in Treaty 6 territory is the traditional gathering place for many Indigenous people. We honor and respect the history, languages, ceremonies, and culture of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call this territory home. Right, so today, this is brought to you by Education Abroad. This is with McCune International. My name is Jonathan Martins. I'm an International Engagement Coordinator. Nice to see all of you here. And today we will have Nagasaki University of Foreign Studies talking a little bit about their university, the campus culture, city life, life in Japan, and answer any questions that you have. So we hope you can discover the world through these sessions. And at the end of all this, when everything's finished, if you have any questions about process or opportunity, you can find this information on our website, mcune.ca/educationabroad. You can email us at educationabroad@mcune.ca. Right now, due to COVID, we are pretty much virtual, so it's best to call 780-497-5397 to book an appointment. You can also book an appointment through educationabroad@mcune.ca. Once we're back on campus, we hope to see you in Building 7, Room 105. So that is all that I wanted to say, and I'll just stop sharing. And now we are ready for Nagasaki University of Foreign Studies.
Morning.
Good
morning.
So are you ready to share some slides?
Yes. Okay, so hi, everybody. I just wanted to make sure that people can hear me okay and see me okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, okay. So
Should be able to share now.
okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let me introduce myself. First of all, I'm a program coordinator from Nagasaki University on Foreign Studies. People, call us NUFS, NUFS. So nice to meet you. And we've also got somebody else from our institution. So maybe Mr. Tiedemann can introduce himself to you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Tiedemann. I'm an English teacher here at Nagasaki University of Foreign Studies, but I also teach a couple of classes to the foreign students, Japanese society and Japanese literature, because I'm a literature person. I also am the liaison between our university and the universities in North America, and I have actually had the honor to visit McCune campus about 5 years ago. And I'll be sharing this meeting. How many people do we have?
How many people do we have, Jonathan? I mean, I can see the names, but I'm not really a math person, so I can't.
I see 12 right now. I think there are 12 total.
Okay, 12. Okay, thank you very much. So, yeah, so let me share some slides with you, first of all. Okay. Oh. Okay, so hi, we are from Nagasaki University of Foreign Studies. And again, my name is Tomoko Mori. You can call me Tomoko, and I'm a program coordinator at the International Center. Okay, so first of all, I wonder if anybody knows where Nagasaki is. We are actually located on the west part of Japan, as you can see, and Tokyo, it's about 1,200 kilometers away from us. so about 2 hours by plane. We are located on the northern border of Nagasaki City and its suburb of Togitsu Town. Nagasaki City is has about 420,000 people, as opposed to Tokyo metropolitan area with lots of residents. Do you remember how many residents Tokyo?
Around 28 million.
Yeah, 28 million. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add about Nagasaki, Tiedemann sensei, to students?
Well, we are out in the countryside. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Okay. So
Surrounded by lots of mountains and sea.
yes. Okay. Next, I'm talking about our campus, and I will probably show you the video that we made. So if you can bear with us for a moment. Okay.
And
I
if
have to.
you're familiar with this, just please switch it to music mode for any kind of videos so we can hear it. Otherwise, we won't be able to hear it.
Okay. Yeah. I just have to say that the music is quite loud, so you might have to turn down the volume, but there you go. Okay, so that was our campus. Yeah, so as you can see that we are not quite Tokyo. We are surrounded by nature, but we are really proud of that. But we are not actually in sort of countryside either, because we are surrounded by lots of houses, and as you can see, the sea. Anything you would like to say, Mr. Tiedemann?
There are actually humans who come to the campus. I don't, that's the first time I've seen this video and don't know why they took it with no people in it at all, but anyway.
Yes, I mean that they had a drone and everything, and then it looks really amazing. But yeah, a little bit sort of no need without people, but we got people. So I'm just going to uh, talk about people. So we have 716 students. And as you can see, we are pretty small four-year institution, and we offer two majors in the Department of English and Department of International Communication. And the international communication, we teach Chinese, Korean, French, German, and we also offer Japanese to international degree-seeking students. You might be wondering where you will be at. You will be students studying a short-term study programs. We have two programs called NICS and JASON programs. So as you can imagine, the students at the university are language majors, so that means they are curious about learning languages and wanting to make friends with international students all the time. At the moment, because of COVID, we don't have as many, but usually a quarter of the students are foreign students. So that's the photos from a classroom.
People.
And yeah, Mr. Tiedemann.
I'm just saying people.
Yes. So yeah, there are people, international students do communicate with Japanese students, and that's something you cannot really get at big universities in bigger cities. Because we are only 700 people, everybody knows each other, and also it's really easy to make friends with Japanese students. Okay. So we have two short-term study abroad programs. The one you will be at, it's called JASON, Japan Studies in Nagasaki, and it's designed for students from non-Asian countries, such as North America and Europe. And we teach Japan Studies classes in English. There are no requirements for Japanese proficiency. Whereas NIC, Nagasaki International Communication Studies, it's designed for students from Asia, such as China, Korea, Hong Kong, and so on. And we teach Japan Studies classes in simplified Japanese. And intermediate Japanese language level is required. So we do teach Japanese to both JASON and NICS students. But as you can see, the level of Japanese we expect from each program, it's different. Anything you want to add, Mr. Tiedemann?
Well, that's good.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, JASON program, you can see some photos from our past students. JASON program has, as I said, the American Canadian students. We also have quite a number of French students every term. And also UK, Germany,
Norway.
and
Norway.
Norway, yes, we had some students from Norway as well, or even from New Zealand. Because of COVID, we have offered for 2021, so this term online, and we will start teaching online courses to spring 2022. But we are hoping to start in-person classes in fall 2022.
The situation is that the Japanese government is making the decision to keep people out of the country. That affects virtually all students who want to come here. And we're hoping that at some point the government will allow students to come in. There's something like in the neighborhood of 130,000 students with plans to study in Japan who are just waiting for the government to open up the borders. So if the borders actually open sometime during the spring term, we will allow students in as soon as possible.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to talk about calendar. There are 2 terms. We have fall term from September to February. Spring term is from April to August. And we offer what we call early assessment for fall students that runs from September to December. And that is in order for students to finish courses at the end of December and go back to the new term in their home countries. And I know that in McEwan, the winter term starts in January. So we have had students in the past who took early assessment option and went back to McEwan so that in time for the winter term. And JSON students can join for 1 term or 2 terms. Okay, so we are going to talk about classes. There are 4 categories for classes, and students can register for between 12 and 25 credits. Each class lasts for 90 minutes, so 1 hour and a half. The Japanese language classes, every student must take a Japanese language class, and that's 4 credits. And it has 8 levels, beginning to advanced. So you don't have to have minimum Japanese proficiency to join our program. Other Japanese language options, most of them are 1 credit. We offer subjects such as kanji vocabulary, Japanese language proficiency test seminar, and other subjects. And Japan studies classes are usually 2 credits, and those classes are conducted in English. Anything you would like to add, Mr. Tiedemann?
No.
Okay, so Mr. Tiedemann teaches a literature class, society class, and some history class as well.
Peace studies.
Peace studies as well, yes. The very unique subject we have is what we call teaching foreign languages classes. And this is designed for people who want to become TEFL teachers in the future. So students actually do teach Japanese students at the university. And this is very well designed class, and students are really eager when they take this class.
This class, that class is designed around learning the techniques of teaching foreign languages. Of course, they have to choose a language, so they are teaching English to the Japanese students, and they're talking about how to teach English. But the techniques apply to any language. So we have Japanese students who want to become Japanese teachers who take the class, and then they would just apply those techniques to teaching Japanese. French students take the class, Chinese students take the class. It's just how to teach foreign languages. It's a very unique class, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we did talk about this, but what we want to say about this is when you have good Japanese, you will be able to take some classes from NICS program, because Japan studies classes, those for NICS students are conducted in simplified Japanese. We also have traditional Japanese arts, martial arts and sports classes. And Japanese arts includes calligraphy, martial arts includes martial arts called Aikido, Kendo, and we also offer tea ceremony, kimono, flower arrangement classes, as well as koto. I don't know if you're familiar with the instrument, but kind of Japanese harp. So those are the classes we have. I'm going to quickly talk about our housing. We offer two types of housing to students. One is dormitory. We have single and shared room, and the other one is homestay. The dormitory, the room on board, single room, it's 42,000 yen. So I calculated this in Canadian dollars. That would be about 460 Canadian dollars. And shared room, it's 21,000 yen. That's 230 Canadian dollars. And students are required to pay entry fee, meals, and utilities. So these are the photos from the dormitory. We have the lounge area, and each student room has very small kitchen, bathroom, and this is what the single and shared room look like. And the dormitory, the Japanese students have quite a few events, such as this one, the Christmas party. Homestay, this is something that we are really proud of because we do actually choose host families from the start, and we do check from time to time how the students and the families are doing. And the fee is 70,000 yen. That is about 770 Canadian dollars per month. And the breakfast and dinner are included. And other fees will be entry fee and transport from the families to the university. Anything you want to comment on our housing, Mr. Tiedemann?
Yeah, I mean, it just gives a variety of options. The dormitory is on the campus, so it's very convenient, and it also has around 400 students in it, or more maybe. And it's a very lively, active situation where you're surrounded by students constantly. And then, of course, if you'd rather be out in the community, the homestay is another option.
Yes, thank you. Right. So this is a final part of our presentation. We do offer lots of activities. There are student clubs, school events, even events with local people and schools. This is because we have usually the largest number of North American and European students in the area. So we do get invitations from the local communities and schools so that students can communicate with people. And school events, we have sports day. As you can see, the international and Japanese students really enjoy themselves together. Culture festival, I don't know why they're dressed up like that, but I think they're making some burgers, I think. Yeah. Okay. And we also have a barbecue facility. We sometimes have events in the area. So there are lots of chances for students to communicate not only with Japanese students, but also with local people. And that's something that NAFS is very proud of. So that's the end of my presentation. We've had several students from McEwen in the past, And the Japanese students are really curious, interested in Canadian culture. So when you come to Nagasaki, I'm sure you have really enjoyable experience. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in Nagasaki. You want to say anything?
Yeah, amongst our Japanese students who are wanting to study abroad, Canada is very popular. It's unfortunately we can't send anywhere near as many of our students to our partners as want to go, but there's just a tremendous curiosity in Japan for Canada and Canadian culture. It's pretty. Can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let's see if I get the right thing here. Here we go. That's not right. That's not right. To here we go. Aha. Everybody see? Another thing that we offer are conversation partners. And because all of our Japanese students are language majors, we have far more interest, far more volunteers amongst the Japanese students than we need. So everybody, all the foreign students can have conversation partners. And then also we offer a overnight stay at the beginning of the term in a hot springs resort. So that's all included in the fees. And we do offer then during each semester a one-day field trip somewhere near Nagasaki and some optional field trips. And of course we have ceremonies. Japanese love ceremonies. And so we have an entrance ceremony and a closing ceremony. And these are some pictures of these kinds of situations. And these kinds of activities are joint between the JASON program with the Westerners and the Asian students in the NICS program. We've even had field trips up to Fukuoka to see sumo, the professional sumo. And in the lower left, the visits to the elementary and junior high schools are really, really wonderful experiences because the foreign students get to be rock stars for a day, surrounded by students who want their autographs and whatnot. It's really fun. We have many World Heritage Sites here in Nagasaki. Nagasaki has a very rich history. And yes, Nagasaki is not just another city, in Japan. And Nagasaki is not just a city that was a victim of atomic bombing. But Nagasaki has a very, very interesting and very unique history in Japan and actually in the whole world. It was one of the only places. Well, it was in the 1500s. It was where the Europeans first established trading posts. And during the time, the Edo period when Japan, the 200 years when Japan was closed off to the outside world, Nagasaki was the only place in Japan that was actually still trading with, with China and with Holland. And then in the industrialization of Japan in the late 1800s, Nagasaki was the center of that effort as well. So there are many interesting aspects, and there are opportunities to learn about that and to study about the role of Nagasaki in Japanese history.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Tiedemann.